What if I told you that the power you've been looking for all your life never left you not once? That it was never hidden in a temple, buried in a book, or locked away in some distant monastery, but rather gently resting within you, quietly humming beneath the surface of your every breath. You see, the human body is not just flesh and bone. It is a living field of energy, constantly vibrating, shifting, and responding to thought, emotion, and intention. And this energy, what some call life force, others call prana, chi, or biofield, has been studied not just by mystics and sages, but by physicists, neuroscientists, and medical researchers alike. In 1994, the National Institutes of Health officially recognized the human biofield as a measurable field of energy and information. Since then, hundreds of peer-reviewed studies have confirmed what ancient traditions have long whispered, that our bodies emit low-level electromagnetic fields, that our hearts produce rhythms that influence the brain, and that coherent breathing can alter our nervous system, our immune response, and even our perception of reality. When you feel uplifted by a memory or drained by a toxic conversation, you are not imagining things. You are experiencing a shift in your energetic state, a real, observable phenomenon. Let's make this tangible. Picture a tuning fork. When struck, it vibrates at a certain frequency. Now place another tuning fork nearby. Without even touching, the second fork begins to vibrate too. That's resonance. Our bodies and minds work the same way. You walk into a room and feel a strange heaviness. That's not in your head. You are tuning into the frequencies around you. What if you could learn to change your own frequency on purpose, to heal, to grow, to awaken something long asleep? This is not just poetic metaphor. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research, for example, shows measurable changes in brainwave patterns, heart rate variability, and genetic expression after just a few days of deep breath-focused meditation and coherent emotional states. People over 65 have reversed years of anxiety, pain, and depression not through medication, but through energy awareness and breath regulation. Why? Because the body is designed to respond to coherence, to order, not chaos. And you, at any age, can restore that order from within. You might be thinking, that sounds beautiful, but where do I begin? Begin with your breath. It's the most accessible tool you have. Try this. Sit quietly. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and rest for 4. Just do that for 5 minutes. What you're doing is retraining your nervous system to shift from survival mode into a state of calm presence. You are literally signaling your brain and body to heal, to grow, and to transform. This isn't magic. It's neurobiology. It's practical. It's ancient. And it works. You don't need to climb a mountain or chase youth to rediscover your strength. The truth is, the older you are, the closer you are to this power. Why? Because life has carved wisdom into your bones. It's made you more sensitive to what matters and less willing to waste time on what doesn't. So now is not the time to shrink. Now is the time to awaken. Feel into that quiet power inside you. Name it. Trust it. Use it. Your energy is not a side effect of life. It is life itself. And it is waiting for you. In every ancient civilization, there was a quiet understanding that human beings were more than muscle and memory. From the Egyptian temples to the forests of the Druids, from Chinese medicine to the yogic science of India, there existed a reverence for what they called the life force, a subtle current flowing through all living things. They gave it names like chi, prana, pneuma, and spiritus. Today, science has a new language for it. We call it the biofield, the electromagnetic signature of the human body, and we're finally beginning to measure what the ancients could only feel. The heart, for instance, generates a magnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain's, extending several feet beyond the body. This is not speculative. It's measurable through magnetocardiography. When you sit with someone who's calm and peaceful, your heart rate synchronizes with theirs through a process called heart coherence. You become calmer, not because of words, but because of frequency. This is the forgotten science of human energy, one that lives not in the realm of fantasy, but in the realm of physiology and physics. Think of it this way. Just as a radio must be tuned to the right frequency to pick up a clear signal, your body must be tuned to the right state to receive and send coherent energy. When you are angry, stressed, or fearful, your internal frequency becomes chaotic. You are broadcasting static. But when you are grateful, present, and open, your inner systems begin to align. Your heartbeat, breath rhythm, and brainwaves come into harmony. This is not merely a mood. It is a measurable shift in your electromagnetic field, one that influences not only your health but also the people around you. That's why when you walk into a room full of joy, you feel lighter. When you enter a tense room, your body tightens without a word being spoken. This is the force of human energy in action. And here's the beautiful part: you can learn to control it. The HeartMath Institute, one of the leading research centers on emotional energetic coherence, has shown that seniors practicing heart-focused breathing and emotional regulation experience significant reductions in blood pressure, improved cognitive function, and even enhanced immune response. You don't need complex equipment. You don't need to believe in mystical philosophies. You only need a willingness to pause, breathe, and feel. Take 1 minute right now. Place your hand over your heart. Inhale slowly. As you exhale, recall a moment of deep appreciation, a grandchild's smile, a sunrise, a long-forgotten kindness. Stay there for just a breath longer than usual. What you are doing is not imagination. You are recalibrating your field. You are, quite literally, changing the signal you broadcast into the world. Philosophers have long taught that the soul is not separate from the body, but expressed through it. Plato called the body the instrument of the soul. And now science echoes the same. The body is not just a container, but a conductor. When your energy is coherent, your life becomes clearer. When your field is aligned, your path feels lighter. The beauty of this knowledge is that it does not require youth, wealth, or perfect health. It only requires attention. Pay attention to what gives you energy. Pay attention to what drains it. And most importantly, take back the authorship of your own frequency. Do not let the noise of the world decide how you feel. Choose it, shape it, and in doing so, rediscover the lost science that has been living in you all along. Transformation never begins in the outside world. It begins in the quiet, often overlooked spaces of our inner life. It begins not when circumstances change, but when perception shifts. The greatest revolutions happen not on the battlefield, but in the silence of a person's own awareness. This is where your hidden power starts to move. You don't need more time, youth, or control over the world. What you need is presence. The kind of presence that allows you to notice how a single breath can change the way your shoulders rest, how a memory can soften your heart, or how a moment of gratitude can dissolve years of tension. Transformation is not distant. It is immediate, and it is available to you in this very moment. Neuroscientists have found that the human brain remains plastic well into our 70s and 80s, which means we can rewire thoughts, habits, and even our emotional responses no matter how long we have lived a certain way. Dr. Norman Doidge, author of The Brain That Changes Itself, documents case after case where stroke victims regained function, seniors regained memory, and chronic patterns of pain were reversed through focused attention, intention, and consistent inner work. This is not theory. This is proof that the inner world shapes the outer reality. To make it simple, imagine a garden. If you keep planting the same seeds of worry, regret, or fear, you'll keep harvesting the same results. But the soil of your mind is fertile. It is never too late to plant new seeds. A small daily practice of mindfulness, breathwork, or heart-centered reflection can begin to uproot decades of inner noise and reorient your energy toward calm and clarity. One man I spoke with, age 71, told me that after just 6 weeks of practicing conscious breathing every morning, he no longer felt the chronic tightness in his chest that had haunted him for years. What changed? Not the world, not his age, but his inner alignment. He was no longer leaking energy to the past or projecting fear into the future. He had returned to himself, and in doing so, he began to change everything. Philosophically, we must remember that transformation is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who we already are beneath the layers of expectation, disappointment, and noise. As the poet Rumi once said, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? You may not feel like you have wings right now. You may feel tired, uncertain, or burdened. But I promise you, your energy is still alive. It is waiting patiently for your attention. And when you give it that attention, when you choose one moment each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and return to the simple truth of your being, you are transforming. Not slowly, not in theory, but right then, right there. So here is your invitation. Choose one practice, just one. Could be 5 minutes of slow breathing in the morning, or keeping a gratitude journal beside your bed, or taking a short walk in silence and watching how the sunlight moves through the trees. Whatever it is, make it real, make it yours, and most importantly, repeat it. Repetition is how energy stabilizes. It is how change becomes lasting. This is not about chasing some future version of yourself. It is about waking up to the quiet power you already carry. Transformation does not come in thunder. It comes in stillness. It begins inside, and it begins now. To truly harness the force within you, you must learn not just to feel your energy, but to guide it with care and clarity. This is the art of self-mastery. And like any art, it does not depend on age or physical strength. It depends on awareness and practice. Imagine a river that has flowed wildly through a valley for years, carving its way through stone and soil. Now imagine building channels to direct that same river so it nourishes fields, turns mills, and sustains life. Your energy is that river, and the tools to guide it are not locked in laboratories or hidden in esoteric texts. They are simple, repeatable practices backed by science and enriched by ancient wisdom. Breath is the first tool. It is the remote control of the nervous system. Slow, rhythmic breathing has been shown in studies by Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman to reduce cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, and shift the brain from reactive states to reflective ones. When you breathe with intention, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 6, you are not just calming yourself. You are signaling your vagus nerve to activate the parasympathetic system, the part of you that heals, restores, and rebuilds. It is in this state that energy becomes coherent and transformation takes root. The second tool is embodied awareness. Noticing where in your body energy gathers, where tension hides, and where openness flows. Could be as simple as standing barefoot on the ground, feeling the earth beneath your feet, and gently scanning your body from the soles upward. Neuroscientific research in somatic therapy confirms that bringing attention to body sensations activates regions of the brain responsible for self-regulation and emotional processing. One woman I worked with, aged 68, who had struggled with anxiety for decades, began a simple practice of placing her hands over her heart each morning and asking herself, "What is alive in me today?" That one question opened a door. She learned to identify the energetic whether within her and slowly, without force, began to guide it toward calm and compassion. Visualization, paired with elevated emotion, is another powerful technique. The brain does not strongly distinguish between vividly imagined experience and physical reality. Athletes have long used this principle to rehearse performance, and now research in psychoneuroimmunology shows that mental imagery combined with feelings like gratitude or love can improve immune markers and reduce inflammation. When you visualize energy moving through your body, light, warmth, or vibration, you are activating networks in the brain that send real signals to the rest of the body. You are reshaping your internal landscape. Begin small. Visualize a soft golden light in your chest as you breathe, and imagine it expanding with every exhale. Do this for just 5 minutes a day, and watch how your sense of vitality begins to shift. Finally, grounding practices help you maintain balance. Life will always bring challenges, but when your energy is rooted, you can respond instead of react. Tai Chi, gardening, walking slowly while focusing on your steps, all of these simple activities train your nervous system to stay centered. Dr. Roland McCready of the HeartMath Institute found that people who practice grounding techniques daily had more stable heart rhythms, better sleep, and improved cognitive function, particularly among older adults. And remember, simplicity is power. You don't need elaborate rituals. You need rhythm, presence, and consistency. So I offer this to you not as philosophy alone, but as living truth. You have tools at your disposal that can transform your inner state and, by extension, your outer experience. Begin with the breath. Add awareness. Practice visualizing light within. And find a daily act that roots you. Each of these choices is a thread in the fabric of your transformation. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are precisely where power meets purpose. Let the force within you rise, not with noise, but with intention, and let it move through you with grace. You are not just a receiver of energy. You are the source. This is not merely a metaphor or a poetic idea. It is a living reality that modern science and ancient philosophy are both pointing to with increasing clarity. When you begin to consistently tap into your inner power, not through force but through awareness and practice, you realize that the change you long for in the world is inseparable from the change you generate within yourself. The electromagnetic field of your heart, scientifically measurable and responsive to emotion, is not simply reacting to life but shaping it. The coherence you create in your body sends ripples into every interaction, every room, every moment. This is the truth that thinkers like Teilhard de Chardin suggested when he wrote that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human one. And it is echoed now by biophysicists studying heart-brain synchronization, by researchers tracking how meditation alters gene expression, and by physicians observing the healing power of mind-body alignment in their patients. When you choose to align with your inner energy not out of urgency, but out of love, you participate in the quiet evolution of human consciousness. Let this be practical. Do not wait for the world to calm down. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Begin your day with a simple intention. Today, I will carry my energy with care. That one sentence can shift how you walk, how you listen, and how you breathe. The act of returning to your breath, even for just a few minutes a day, is not only a healing practice, but a radical reclaiming of attention. Attention is the currency of transformation. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And when your energy is focused, your presence becomes magnetic. That is not wishful thinking. It is supported by studies in neuroplasticity and psychophysiology. Your nervous system at any age is capable of growth. Your energy field at any stage can become more coherent, more vibrant, more alive. I once spoke with a man, 82 years old, who began practicing slow, intentional walking meditation each morning after a lifetime of rushing. He told me that, for the first time, he began to feel like the earth was holding him instead of resisting him. That's the power of a shift in energy. Nothing outside had changed, but his relationship to life had. You don't need to add more to your life to become powerful. You need to remove the noise that keeps you from hearing the quiet strength that's already there. That strength is not loud. It does not push. It does not demand. It waits. It waits for your stillness. And in that stillness, you discover that you were never disconnected, never broken, never without power. You had only forgotten how to return home to yourself. So I invite you now not to rush toward change, but to rest in your own source. Take 3 breaths right now. Feel the warmth in your chest. Imagine it radiating outward gently, like the glow of a candle in a quiet room. That glow is yours. It belongs to you, and it is enough. Carry that glow into your day. Let it shape your words, soften your steps, and strengthen your presence. The world does not need you to be faster or younger. It needs you to be deeply, unapologetically present. That is the beginning of wisdom. That is the awakening of power. And that, my friend, is how transformation becomes a way of life.